African Safari Wildlife Park is a wild experience with over 800 exotic animals. Our drive-through safari features giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, alpacas, and even white bison, all of which you can feed right from your vehicle. Walk on the wild side with the Zoo It All Pass and feed kangaroos, porcupines, tortoises, and rabbits. Step into our aviary adventure and hand-feed budgies for a memorable experience. Check out our live educational shows or ride a camel. Create memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio Safari Park, African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy hump day to you. Jennifer here with all the allergies in the world, so I apologize for all of this. But anyway, we're here and we're going to have some fun today. And it is hump day, so we do have some rain in the forecast. We'll get to that in just a moment, but we appreciate you tuning in. And we are here with our good friend Phill Buffington, and Phill is in the house.
Yes.
And you're stuck with me for an hour today.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He's like, I am. Yeah. Oh, man.
It's all hitting me right now, yeah.
He's like, I hate my life. No. So, Phill, you do need to feel a little sorry for me this morning because I'm having all this allergy issues and my eyes, like literally I have like tissues under my eyes this morning trying to look up stories because they're just pouring and bad things are happening, and I've put every allergy drop in my eye that I can find, and the allergy pills and all of that. So I put my clothes on and I start driving to work, and I look down at my feet and I still have on my house slippers.
It happens. It happens.
And I appreciate you not making too much fun of me.
I won't make fun of you. I've done the same thing. You put clothes on. You win.
I mean, like, here, I'll show you. Like, I really have my house slippers on. Hey, they match.
There you go. You're comfortable.
Yeah. I called Jamie. I'm like, I think we need a vacation. I've got on my house slippers and it's too late to turn back now. He's like, it's okay.
It'll be all right.
So I'm sorry.
I think you should just write it out and wear them the rest of the day.
Do you think?
Yeah. You just commit.
I've seen weirder things at Walmart.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
At least I know I'm in pajama pants and slippers.
Yes.
And they're not like Miss Piggy or something.
Right. I wouldn't have known if you didn't point it out to me.
Oh, you wouldn't have?
No.
Okay. All right. By the way, I will give a free endorsement for UGG house slippers. They are the bomb. I've worn out like one pair, so I had to get another one. Wow. So this is my second pair.
They owe you a couple now for the shout out.
That's right. And if the Crocs company wants to send us any, we would be very happy to model them here on the program. Or if UGG wants to send us anything, we'll be very happy to model them here on the program too, as I just did for free. Only because I'm making fun of myself, but anyway. So, Phill, you have, I think, some news to talk about, as you are our local news guy out and about town, along with Pete Wilson.
Yes.
So what the heck is going on?
Well, one of the things that came through yesterday, actually after our deadline for the paper, so it didn't get in the paper.
Okay.
I believe it's on our website now. But there was an indictment returned on a former Jackson County Sheriff's Office employee. Auditor of State Keith Faber's office announced the indictment of former Jackson County Sheriff's Office employee Cheryl Brady. Bless you.
Thank you.
Following an investigation.
Sorry, I told you. Thank you. Wow, we suck. Anyway, I just should go home. Go ahead. Thank you for carrying me today.
That's okay. Cheryl Brady, a former Jackson County Sheriff's Office employee, was indicted following an investigation by the Auditor's Special Investigations Unit.
Really?
Yes. She is accused of using her position as an employee of the Sheriff's Office to steal approximately $37,000 in fees received from the issuance of concealed carry permits and for the performance of criminal background checks. After discovering that the funds were missing, the Jackson County Sheriff requested the assistance of the Special Investigations Unit of BCI&I That's the Bureau of Criminal Investigation and Identification.
Oh, my.
And the indictment was issued on Friday, May 21st. And she is indicted on 1 count of theft in office, a 3rd-degree felony, and 1 count of grand theft, a 4th-degree felony. They performed, they being the Special Investigations Unit of Auditor of State Keith Faber's office, they performed a forensic audit and worked in partnership with BCI&I to investigate the case. And attorneys in the Special Investigations Unit have been appointed as special prosecutors in this case. She was arrested, I believe, yesterday, and is currently in custody in Middleport. So that was one big thing that happened. And that came in, I think, at about 4:30 yesterday after the paper was already sent to Athens to be printed. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that's happened here in the past couple of days.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's intense.
It just seems as if you work for the police, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's even worse.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come down on you harder, I have a feeling.
I feel like that too. Pete and I were talking about it yesterday, and this, I believe, I don't really remember her as an employee there, but Pete does, and he said that it was probably over a year ago when she was let go.
Really?
So this has been a lengthy investigation.
Wow.
And I believe anything over $9,999 is considered grand theft. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm following that on the Courtview site to make sure that we don't miss anything there. A little lighter news. Yesterday was the last meeting for longtime Administrator Marie Callahan at the Jackson County Commissioner's Office. She's worked for the county for a total of 20 years, 14 of those years with the commissioners. And they gave her a big surprise yesterday, and it actually was a surprise. We were in on it too, members of the media. We showed up to the meeting. It wasn't a very involved meeting. They had a fake executive session, so don't mind any of the broken sunshine laws there or anything like that. It was all in good fun.
Oh.
but they called the executive at 9:30, and we went out the front door and snuck back into the Board of Elections, back into the office that had the door shut, gathered a bunch of people together, and then called her back in and surprised her.
That is so good, you guys.
Yeah. And they had quite a few elected officials there, all 3 commissioners, of course, Recorder Krista Brown, Sheriff Frazier, JCMS Director Chris Johnson, Auditor Ridgway, all 3 of the county's judges, Mark Music, Judge Regan, and Judge Skaggs. So yeah, it was really nice. They gave her a gift, a parting gift, and gave her a special proclamation. She was very emotional and very happy. I think her last day is actually June 4th, but that would be this was her last meeting.
Aww.
We can play that if you want.
Okay, we have the video of when she first came in.
Oh, cool.
From our contractual that we're going to do a proclamation for Miss Callahan. I'll read the proclamation. Proclamation resolution. Whereas Administrator Marie Callahan worked as a county employee very faithfully for 20 years, serving 14 of those years with the commissioners. Now therefore be proclaimed that the Board of Jackson County Commissioners commends and congratulates Marie Callahan on her retirement. Be it further proclaimed that the members of the Board of Commissioners of Jackson County, Ohio express deep gratitude and appreciation to Marie Callahan for anticipating their needs and making their work easier, keeping us out of trouble, basically. Be it further resolved that the Jackson County Board of Commissioners wish to say thank you for your faithful and dedicated service to Jackson County.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Willis?
Yes.
Hensler?
Yes.
Haller?
No. Yes.
Resolution 114-21. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I can't believe this. I wish my husband hadn't left, but he had some work to do.
we thought he knew, because I thought when he left, he was coming over here, so I thought he knew, but we're sorry about that. But we got a special gift for you, and so we're going to get a picture of the proclamation, and we'll get a picture with everybody outside probably. But we got a special gift for you that I think you're going to like.
Okay. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
How cute.
Yeah, she was really caught off guard. She's very deserving. She's a very, very nice lady. She has kept those guys in line for a long time.
She has. And she's had a number of them to go through the office. So.
Yeah, she has. And she replaced I remember when she first actually took that role when I was at the Times Journal, and she replaced Gloria Addington, who had been there for quite a long time before her.
Who also kept them in line.
Yes. And now that Marie is leaving, administrative assistant Carla Markham will step up into that role, and taking Carla's job will be Tommy Harless, who has worked as the deputy director of the Emergency Management Agency alongside Robert Cheklevsky. So there should be some new faces over at the commissioner's office.
Well, it's always bittersweet, you know. You wish her the best, but hate to see her go as well.
Definitely.
So yeah, but she definitely has done a wonderful job and always been so pleasant and kind there in the office.
We'll move on to the
electric
fence issue, and it's still going on. Still going on.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The dreaded fence. The dreaded fence controversy of 2021.
Yeah. So this has been.
We should write a book.
Yeah, I know. There have been some interesting disputes in Wellston, for sure. Jackson too, I guess. I can't blame it all on Wellston.
No, that's true.
But a lot of this, since it first got brought into the public spectrum back in, I think it was April 1st, a lot of this has been going on behind the scenes at the committee level. Attorneys have been brought into it now, with Randy Shaw, who has a dispute with his neighbor, the long-standing business Dave's Custom Butchering.
Yeah.
On West Broadway Street in Wellston, which is just on the outskirts of town. Basically, Mr. Shaw came to council back at the beginning of April to issue a complaint that Dave's Custom Butchering had installed an electric fence. However, it hadn't been charged. I don't know that it's been charged since it's been installed.
As far as I know, it has not ever been charged.
He, aside from being concerned about the safety of children in particular, as there are children in and around that neighborhood, he was also concerned with the fact that the reason why, he was told anyway, and this is what he says, he was told that the reason why the fence was being installed was so that they could keep a herd of cattle, and I say that in quotes because that's an undefined number of cattle, kept in a feed lot. But we'll fast forward to the May 20 meeting, and legal representation for Dave's Custom Butchering and owner Doug Sprague. It was Rebecca Wagland of the Wellston-based law firm Oathsheiser and Miller. She was there to give a little bit of an update on the situation. And one of the things that Wagland and the Spragues are trying to accomplish is to have a section of Wellston's codified ordinances repealed, and that is section 94.05, which is in the streets and sidewalks section of the codified ordinances. And we'll go ahead and throw back to April 1st again, when Mr. Shaw said basically that Wellston's ordinances are a mess, and no one disagreed with that statement.
If there's anything, everyone can agree to agree on that, I guess, if you want to say that.
And that same night on May 20, there was an ordinance that had a second reading to repeal that section. which is all well and good, but as Mayor Charlie Hudson pointed out, it doesn't really solve the entire issue, as it doesn't address the livestock being able to be kept inside city limits.
Well, and I think to go back, Phil, just for a little bit of background, is one of the problems is that Dave's Custom Butchering has been there. Not the problem, but one of the controversies is that they've been there since before Wellston was there. So are they grandfathered in? Do the laws apply to them? You know, they were there first, then laws were added. Like what, you know, where does that all fall into play? And I think it's just clear as mud.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And Charlie also pointed out too that on the opposite end of town, I think that would be well, it wouldn't be the opposite. It was on the north end of town, on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. There's a gentleman that has, I think, maybe 5 or 6 head of cattle in his yard.
There's also horses out that way too.
Mm-hmm. And so then again, on these outskirts of town, they were all farms at one point, and Dave's has been there for 100 years or more.
More, yeah.
So you know, that is one of the main talking points, is whether or not these guys are excused from ordinances that were basically imposed on them because they were already there before they were even a municipality.
So are they grandfathered in, if that's the word, or what?
That's the million-dollar question. And they also have to keep in mind, and this was brought up as well, 4-H projects and whether or not they would be allowed and how to consider that when making any sort of a decision. This is still being discussed at the committee level, all together.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of I know, like for my neighbor, for example. Now we live out on Standpipe, so it is outside of the city limits, but it is kind of restricted a little bit. But yet my neighbor, her son raises a steer every year, and they have like a little makeshift thing they put out, fence it in. The steer's there for a little while, and then I think it's a steer, and then it's gone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Does anyone complain? I mean, you know, like I didn't even think anything about it. I was like, oh, that's it. Kids 4-H project. Cool.
Right. So, well, the thing with these, I mean, I would imagine, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I would imagine that any amount of cattle kept by a butcher shop would only be there for a finite amount of time before it's slaughtered.
Before
so
they're gone.
Now, it might be a never-ending, you know.
Right, a flow of...
Right. But that's their business, and they've been there for, like I said, 100 years or more. And Mayor Hudson also pointed out that even in the city of Columbus, you're allowed to have 1 hooved animal per half acre. And he said, if you're allowed to have an animal like that in Columbus, I don't see why it would be a problem on the outskirts of Wellston. So no decisions were made, but I mean, like I said, it's still being discussed.
So who's going to make the ultimate decision on this? Like, is this a council issue?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a council issue.
But they're just still hearing arguments, I guess. Okay.
They're still talking about it, you know, at the committee level, and then they'll bring an actual ordinance to council, like they did with the 94.05 section to repeal that. But that only fixes, you know, a part of the problem. So yeah, we'll see how much longer this gets drawn out. And like Charlie said too, if you eliminate the electric fence portion of this issue, they could still easily put up a woven wire fence that would,
or a board fence,
anything that would keep. You would think that you would want the fence there, a fence, regardless of what type, to keep the animals from wandering out into the street. Because, as Rebecca Waglin said, I don't know if you've hit a deer with your car, but hitting a cow would be a lot more detrimental, I would imagine.
Yep, and let's just be honest, if you know, cows can be quite stubborn, and electric they respect.
Yeah, indeed.
As we all do.
And she said that it's actually worked before to keep these animals in the area where they're supposed to be. So
I don't know. I totally see everyone's argument, so I'm just like,
I'm really glad I'm not a part of this decision.
Yeah, glad we don't have to make that decision.
I get to just tell you what I think, buddy. There was also a pretty bad crash Saturday out on County Road 76, Beaver Pike, west of Jackson. According to the patrol, a single vehicle crash occurred on Beaver Pike near the intersection of County Road 53 or Valley Chapel Road at about 12:45 a.m. Saturday, May 22nd. Blake Markham, which is actually the son of Carla Markham that we mentioned earlier, he's 36, of Jackson, was operating his vehicle. Was traveling westbound on Beaver Pike when he drove off the right side of the roadway, struck a pole and overturned. He was ejected and became pinned underneath the vehicle.
Oh my.
Jackson County EMS responded to the scene along with a med-flight helicopter, and he was flown to Cabell Huntington Hospital in West Virginia by med-flight. The crash remains under investigation by the patrol, and so our thoughts and prayers are with Carla and the Markham family. I hope he's doing okay. The Field of Heroes events is about to take place this Memorial Day weekend in Wellston.
Yeah. Don't we have a guest coming in, James?
Tim Jackson, I believe.
Yeah, they were just added yesterday. I don't have it in front of me, but we are going to have someone come in and talk to us about
really neat project.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think he's coming in Thursday.
I think it is Thursday. Yep.
Because the event.
That'd be tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be tomorrow.
This is a girl wearing house slippers just to work. I don't know.
That event will kick off the day after tomorrow on Friday, and Tim is the Wellston Rotary Club's president. This is the first. I think it's Tim and Dorothea Riepenhoff are spearheading this first annual event in Wellston. They hope to keep this thing going. I believe their goal was 50 flags, and they've already sold 100. So they doubled their expectations for this first event.
Wow.
That's still quite a bit behind the largest in the state, which was in Westerville, and I think they have about 3,000 flags a year. So
wow.
this
I
one,
would just think 100, and
yeah.
I mean, they've doubled their thoughts and expectations.
And these aren't little flags either. These are they're erected on 10-foot poles, and they're 3x5 flags. So
that is going to be so pretty.
Yeah, and they have the solar panel lights that they'll have shown on each flag, so that you'll be able to see them even at night. And they'll be, in perfect rows and all succinct and all that. So this will last from Friday through Monday, I believe, and Saturday, I believe, after the ceremony on Friday, which will involve the singing of the national anthem by Commissioner John Hensler, along with a prayer, just the opening ceremonies. And then Saturday there will be a 5K walk/run. There's going to be, I think, a boot drop. They're going to collect some money for the Rotary Club to assist in their scholarship endeavors. They just gave 3, I believe, this year. They're hoping to increase the number of scholarships they can give each year. So all these events, the proceeds will benefit the Wellston Rotary Club and the various undertakings they have. We'll move on. There was another crash Saturday, May 22nd. This was another one-vehicle crash that occurred at about 9:04 p.m. on Saturday on U.S. Route 35, about 3 miles east of the Ross County line. And that was a vehicle driven by 22-year-old Moses Eli Bird of Jackson. The patrol reported that his eastbound car negotiated a curve and traveled off the left side of the road and struck the median and rolled several times across the westbound lane until striking a guardrail and coming to rest partially in the westbound lane of the 4-lane highway. Let's see, I guess there was on that. Bird was wearing a seatbelt. He sustained incapacitating injuries and was flown by a med-flight helicopter to St. Mary's Regional Medical Center in Huntington, West Virginia for treatment. So,
well, again, we hope gets a speedy recovery.
Yeah. And then finally, I think we have another video to show you that James shot yesterday afternoon of the demolition process at the former Bilo gas station. And this is at the corner of State and Bridge Streets in Jackson. So this has been a lengthy process, spearheaded by the Jackson County Land Bank.
Yes.
And their overall purpose is to improve derelict properties and blighted structures throughout the county. And this was definitely one of those.
You know, and the problem, Phil, and I think a lot of people understand this, with especially tearing down an old gas station, is you get into an EPA issue where those, you know, all of those underground gas tanks have to be removed, and you don't just willy-nilly drag those out of the ground. You have to be very, very careful with those so as to not contaminate things. And so that's, I think, why they've gotten themselves into such the lengthy process of actually tearing this place down. I can remember growing up, I grew up just around the corner from there, and it was actually a viable gas station back then. It was, you know, the one where you pulled in and there was like the guy that came out and actually fill her up, and they checked
Cleaned
your
your
tires, and it was one of those old school, and kind of sad to see it go, but also probably time, and then that lot can be used for something else.
Yeah.
Any ideas of the future for it?
I'm not sure. They haven't really gone into too much detail about that. But yeah, this has been ongoing, at least in the discussion portion, for quite a while. They had to, like you said, they had to do numerous studies to make sure that none of those old tanks were leaking underground, and they'll be removed now that the building is actually down. I believe it's completely down now, isn't it, James? Yeah, it's completely down. So I believe there are 2 or 3 underground tanks that need to be removed. And prior to the building coming down, they actually gave the public a chance to come and take any mementos that they might want, whether that be a part of the old gas pumps. I know someone had expressed interest in taking the garage doors. So I'm not sure how that all played out, but they did give the public a chance to do that.
I mean, you could always express interest in coming and getting an old gas tank out of the ground.
That'd probably do them a big favor.
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, once again, it's sad to see part of history disappearing, but at the same time, it's what's best, and safety, and, you know, again, repurposing a lot for something positive would be good.
Definitely. And in addition to the land bank, this project was also supported by the commissioners, the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, and the City of Jackson.
Very good.
The end.
The end. All right.
How would you have liked for that to have been your house right next to that yesterday?
I know, right?
Oh my God.
I've been there. I used to live down on Broad Street, and it is that little house right next to the gigantic parking lot for the church.
Yes.
At that weird, like, 5-way stop.
Yes.
Yeah. At the time, I was on like a 3rd shift job, and every day I would come home. They tore up that old parking lot and replaced it. So every day I would come home at about 7 or 7:30, and they would start, and they would pick up the massive pieces of concrete and asphalt and whatever else and slam it on the ground to break it up. And I mean, they would stop about the time I would have to get up and get to work the next day. And they did it for about 2 months. So that was a blast, let me tell you. I can feel their pain. At least that got done in, you know, a couple hours. So
that's true. But all in the name of progress, right?
Yeah, I guess it looks a lot better now.
Hey,
and actually they tore the house down. The land bank had that house torn down that was next to that house.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We'll make for a nice lot. That's such a unique that triangle of land. Again, I grew up literally a few houses down from there. That triangle of land has always fascinated me. It's like only in a small town USA does that. I don't even know what you call it. Like
I've never seen anything like it.
It's like an island in the middle of the city, like where there's just this rando triangle of land with houses on it.
Yep.
Like the island, but they should build a moat around it. Hey, it's not a bad idea. Our next themed house in Jackson. The island with the moat around it.
With a little drawbridge and alligators and all.
Yeah, I like it. But no, it's definitely those guys that run that heavy equipment too. God bless you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we had to sit there and watch the Eagles building get torn down next to our building. That for everybody, and this dude that came down and did that, unbelievable stuff. I mean, the worst thing that happened out of the whole thing was I think a cable line got snapped. No, I'm just going to tell you if that was the worst thing that happened.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like an extension of their own body.
Yeah.
To watch these guys
It
use that
is,
thing.
and you're just. It's almost art.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine.
So it's like dancing or something.
You think those guys are good at arcade claw machines?
Oh, I bet.
I would have to think they win at the claw machine every time. Yes.
That's a good point.
Perhaps Frogger as well. I don't know.
Anything joystick related.
Yeah, right. You are exactly right on that. Oh my goodness. Oh well. All right, so we do have, don't forget, Festival of Flags coming up this weekend, and we did get to talk with the girls performing, Presley and Taylor, and they are just delightful, and Saturday night they're going to be down there rocking out Oak Hill,
Nice.
and they promise that it is going to be a ton of fun down there. And you know, they haven't gotten to play. They said this is their first show that they've gotten to play since the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So you know they are going to be raring to go.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's
so
nice to
gonna be
see
fun.
stuff like that coming back.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot. Also, the Feast of the Flowering Moon this weekend over in Chillicothe, and that's a pretty neat festival down there in is that Yaktangi Park or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. They have a lot of music, kind of a Native American themed festival.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a lot of neat stuff going on there in Oak Hill, or in Oak Hill, but also in Chillicothe as well. So maybe tomorrow we can sit down and talk, a little bit about the Festival of Flags schedule and exactly what's going on every day.
Definitely.
Get down to the nitty gritty of it. In football news, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Sporting News has released its 2021 preseason college football top 25. Where does Ohio State lie? What do you think? Do you know?
I don't know. I would
Okay.
say the top 5.
Ahead of Michigan.
Definitely.
Well, duh.
I'd say probably Alabama's 1. And I bet we're 2 or 3.
You are so good. Actually, Alabama number 1, Clemson number 2, and your Ohio State Buckeyes number 3. Rounding out the top 10, Oklahoma, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Florida, Iowa State,
Oh.
and the Bearcats of Cincinnati.
Wow.
So yeah,
I don't know that I ever remember Cincinnati being in the top 10.
top 10. Yep.
I mean, preseason, anyway.
Preseason. Of course, they did pretty well
Yeah, they
last
did.
year. So
They did.
yeah, they
Where
say
are the
that-
Bobcats on there? Sorry, guys. I'm an alum. I get to say that.
the list is not long enough. Phil, sorry.
Ouch. It's all right.
Can you find Michigan on there?
Guarantee you
well, let me
cannot.
see.
Or is the list also not long enough? They're probably
You could
top
triple
20.
the list and they
They're
wouldn't
top
be on
20
there.
probably.
The list is not long enough.
It's been a rough
Um,
road to hoe for those guys here lately.
Let's look at. I guess I should look at Big Ten teams. Indiana's 15, Iowa 18, Wisconsin 20, Penn State 25. So lots of Big Ten teams in
Yeah.
that top 25. So very, very good. It is Ryan Day's 3rd season as the Buckeyes head coach. They are, of course, the favorite to win their 5th straight Big Ten championship. C.J. Stroud is the favorite to emerge as the starting quarterback, with Justin Fields being gone, in a battle with Jack Miller III and Kyle McCord. So we will see with that. We lost a lot of folks, but brought back a lot of. We will be bringing back a lot of folks as well.
So what do you guys think about Urban Meyer reuniting with Tim Tebow?
I mean,
I don't know.
that's what I think of it.
Makes you sneeze.
She
I'm,
scoffs at it.
I'm expelling the demons from my body.
That dude just won't quit. Either one of them, I guess.
Either one of them, yeah. Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer. I mean, obviously a good team a good duo when they were in college, and I don't think that Tim Tebow ever did much in the NFL.
He won a playoff game.
He did with the Broncos.
Then went on to play baseball, right, for a while. And
Minor
Played
league baseball. He never made major league roster though.
I just don't, there's so many, and again, I'm a girl, so I can't really talk that much about sports, but there's been so many college players that have been mediocre that have gone to the NFL, like the Tom Brady's of the world, that you're like, he was what, like a 5th round draft pick or something, and is God's gift now. And then you have these 1st round draft picks or number 1 picks that go to the NFL and just can't make that transition. And I think Tim Tebow, for some reason, his style just doesn't fit well with the NFL.
I don't know that Urban Meyers matches up with the NFL. I mean, he was a really good college coach, but look at the talent he had and look where he coached.
Yeah.
I mean, so
there's a big difference between recruiting high school players to come to your school and signing, NFL free agents.
Well, and dealing with a bunch of, let's just be honest with you, pampered, spoiled, multi-millionaire NFL players.
Yep.
I mean, managing them, college players, you got something on them.
Mm-hmm.
NFL players, I don't know how anybody manages them.
I don't either. I mean, they're all their own beasts, and it's not so much of a team effort once you get to that point because everybody's kind of, I can't say everybody, but it seems like most people are out for themselves. And,
I mean, you are. It's your job, so you have to watch out for number 1, and so it would be tough to be like herding cats, I feel like. And, I don't know. We'll see how it goes and wish the best for all of them. But I will tell you, the Tim Tebow thing just really grated on me. I got so tired of hearing about Tim Tebow when he was in college. I'm sorry, nobody's that perfect.
No. I mean, it would be different.
Come on.
I mean, he won the Heisman, absolutely. That was good. But at this point, I mean, how long has it been since he's even been?
Oh, like 7 years
It's
since
insane.
he's played in the NFL.
If it was anybody else, they wouldn't have had that opportunity.
No.
He's just got that name.
I mean, look at, what's his name? The 49ers quarterback.
Oh, Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick, yeah. I mean, look at him.
I know.
Well, they're talking about, I heard that discussed, that they were considering him as well, and I thought, I don't see Urban Meyer dealing with that for 5 minutes.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the difference is Kaepernick. Well, I mean, there's a lot of differences, but one of the differences is Tebow is willing to try to play another position, and Kaepernick probably wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It sounds to me like Jacksonville, I mean, you don't have anywhere to go but up, right?
I suppose. I mean, they've been worse, but I don't know.
They're not the best.
And he's not a tall guy, I don't think. I mean, Tebow's probably,
Tebow?
6'1", 6'2"?
I mean, he's definitely not as tall as the kid from Clemson they just drafted.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's enormous.
Trevor, whatever.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah. He is so funny to me because he's like this big hippie looking.
Well, yeah, he looks like a
kid.
SoCal surfer dude.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you're just like, wait a minute. Because, you think of quarterbacks as looking like Tim Tebow or Joe Burrow or whatever. These clean cut, like, wholesome looking kids. And then there's Trevor Lawrence, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I'm programmed to hate that kid because of what he did to Ohio State. But
well, understood. But it happens.
yeah.
So. Oh, on another note, you all will be so happy to know. So when Amanda was here the other day, she was talking about the cicadas, the Brood-X cicadas coming out.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the...
their butts falling off.
Their butts falling off. I'm glad James said it first because I just didn't want to go down that path. But did you hear about this whole thing with the cicadas?
I didn't.
Okay, so the Brood-X cicadas are coming out. They will not be in Ohio. They're more East Coast. But, so evidently, and Amanda brought this up, so I blame her for it. There's this,
like bacteria.
like or a mold or something that they consume while they're in the ground for the 17 years.
Okay.
And basically, it's like a cicada STD. Oh. So when they come out of the ground, like they're privates. Like if they're boy and girl cicadas, like their lower extremities, like basically rot and fall off, but yet it makes them like they're on LSD, and it makes them extremely
Erratic.
Promiscuous.
Thank
okay.
you. Yes, promiscuous, but
They can't reproduce.
they can't do anything about it because their bottom
That's
halves
terrible.
have fallen off. And like this is a thing, you can look it up. Like
It
we
is a
can't
thing.
make this
was
up.
on NPR.
Yes, it's really a
If
thing.
it was on NPR,
So they just
it's legitimate news.
they literally just have lost their minds. They don't know whether they're girls or boys, and they just all just vibrate a lot. So
This is terrifying.
there's that going on.
So you got that going for you.
But there is a guy, are you ready for this, in Woodbridge, Connecticut. His name is Bun Lai. And he is the chef at Mia's
Oh
Sushi.
no, I don't like where this is going.
Oh, yes, you do. You just wait. Mia's Sushi was started by his mother, and who also still cooks there at age 175 years old or something. But he is the chef now there in Connecticut, and it's his family's sustainable sushi restaurant. This summer, he is turning his attention to, you guessed it, cicadas. Evidently, they are mesmerizing to eat with a sweet, bitter flavor reminiscent of walnuts, chestnuts, and certain beans, and their gently crunchy exterior giving way to creaminess like a soft shell crab.
No, I'm good. I'll never,
Good.
I'll never know.
I'll take those chestnuts and those
Yeah.
beans.
I'm good with the walnuts and the chestnuts.
Thank you.
So yeah, they say that while being delicious, cicadas align with his mission to encourage diners to eat in an environmentally conscious way. They are also part of Lai's heritage. During his early childhood in Japan, he remembered climbing up trees, following the song of the cicada to catch one. In Japan, cicadas symbolize summer and rebirth. So anyway, yes, so he is coming up with all of these dishes to use the cicadas. He's going to have to hunt twice as much because, there'll probably only be half of them because their butts have fallen off. He plans to serve his cicadas in their whole form, raw, roasted, smoked, or boiled, primarily because that's how cultures like his have known them. Because locating cicadas can be difficult,
No.
they tend to cluster in specific locations. Lai's dinners, 5 or 6 in total, will be planned at the last moment. He recently tried 3 times to harvest cicadas in Washington, succeeding only on his final attempt.
So how long has this butt disease existed with the cicadas? Because
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but it's definitely a thing.
I'm sure it's not like able to be
Isn't it
transmitted
sad?
to a human being. But
No, but isn't it sad? Like
Just
you're a cicada,
Watch your butt.
yeah,
Right?
You see a bunch of buttless people around. You know what happens.
you've waited 17 years. Just think of a teenager.
Oh yeah.
You've waited 17 years to come out of the ground and reproduce and then die, and you can't even do that.
Terrible.
It's just mean.
You had one job.
That's right. So like every other 17-year-old, they are raring to go, except they can't. So on a recent Monday at the farm, Lai had strung a bunch of cicadas together like a popcorn garland to gently smoke over a fire.
Just like Mom used to make.
Just stick to the rib kind of stuff. The cicadas will go in a salad. He compared them to bacon bits.
No. Mm-mm.
In another bowl, he had Japanese rice dish with peas. He substituted the peas for cicadas to imbue a nutty flavor during steaming. I don't know. It goes on and on and on. He's making a miso soup with them. He's not the only one putting cicadas on the menu. Sean Sherman, who's a chef in Minneapolis, is putting them on his menu.
I want to see what Guy Fieri would do with cicadas.
Take you to Flavor Towns.
Yeah, he
man.
would.
Trash can nachos with cicadas. You got to wear your sunglasses on the back of your
Backwards.
head. To do that.
Oh God, and dye your hair. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about all that. Would you or would you not try the cicadas knowing that they came from somebody that actually knows how to cook them because it's part of their heritage in Japan and all of that? I guess if you were going to eat a cicada, that would be the place to go.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
it would have to be an apocalyptic situation. I'd have to be very hungry.
Do you
and
remember
without any options?
right. Do you remember that show Fear Factor when they used to make them eat the Madagascar hissing cockroaches and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I saw a post on Facebook the other day. It said, "Remember when Joe Rogan used to have hair and went around making people eat bugs?"
So true. Like, what happened to that show? They probably got sued so many times.
When I was in college, I did my study abroad thing in Wales. They had like a touring version of Fear Factor that like went to colleges and did
They
little like
did?
stage shows. Yeah, and they had, I don't remember like exactly what it was they had people do, but it was, come
All
up on
that.
stage and eat a bug kind of thing.
Oh God, and they would make them like put their hands and stuff, and oh no, I don't know. But anyway, so all right, James, cicada, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I mean, I'm not like gonna order it. I don't recommend you having that as the special at Arch and Eddie's Memorial Day weekend.
I think you are
Roasted
safe.
Cicada tacos or something.
Ooh, that would be fun for the food truck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. Do that.
Let me know how that
Yeah,
goes.
let us know how that goes. Report
Hey,
back.
we did lingua tacos the other day. That was kind of fun.
What's that?
Lingua?
Yeah.
Beef tongue.
Okay. Gotcha. I would probably try that. If
Well, I mean,
They
if
were a
you
big hit.
You got to come up with a name like that for it, though.
Right, yeah.
You gotta
So
make it
nobody
sound
knows what it is?
fancy. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't call it like bug soup or anything like that.
That sounds like a children's book.
Right.
The Bugrito.
Bugrito. There you go.
The Bugrito bowl. I don't know. All right, so are you on the fence or
I mean, if
Are you
I
on
was
the
at a
electric
fancy restaurant that served cicadas, I would try it.
okay?
Yeah,
Phill?
I definitely wouldn't eat one raw. I don't want that.
I don't want
to
cicada
happen.
sushi now.
That sounds like a punishment.
I'm
but-
just picturing that scene from The Lion King where Timon and Pumbaa
Yeah,
are
and he
teaching
pulls that
Simba how
bug
to
apart
eat
and it's all
bugs.
juicy and nasty.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's talking about how it's cream filled or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean.
So if you're at this guy's restaurant and he brings you out a cicada dish knowing that he knows how to prepare it properly,
I mean, yeah. I trust
think I
the
would
guy.
try it too.
I trust
Just
him. Just cook it.
I mean, I'm not gonna like go out in my back 40 and get a bucket of cicadas and put them on the grill and
No.
munch down on them. I don't think.
And
but-
though I bet if you like batter them and deep fry them, probably wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you can deep fry anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they like take the heads off so you don't have to see those weird red eyeballs.
The big eyeballs. That was
hate
what
it.
I was thinking of. This
those
is why I
wings.
can't do the crawdad thing.
Yeah.
No,
Well, the
they're
order-
looking at me.
I mean, I've always liked seafood like shrimp and crab and stuff, but the older I get, the more I realize those are just the bugs of the ocean,
Yes,
and I don't really.
there's a bottom
I can't-
feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the stuff shrimp eats, and then I eat that. That's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm getting kind of persnickety in my older age.
I feel like I am too a little bit. Like I mean, I would eat shrimp like all the time, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know about that. And then
Yeah.
lobster. They're the cockroaches of the ocean. It's
Absolutely.
kind of bizarre.
I never really liked lobster that much for that reason because they look like a bug.
Yeah, I love crab. I will say I'm a
Crab's
crab
good.
leg kind of like love crab legs. But
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. Other than that, I'm kind of like, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah,
So.
I'm with you.
But all right. So would you all out there try the cicadas? Would you?
Prove it.
Come on the show, eat a cicada.
That's right.
We will find a prize for you.
We will.
I think there's a bird.
I was
stuck in
gonna
the
say
wall.
we'll give you that bird that's flying around right above my head right now, or the wasp that I was saved from yesterday. So we had a doctor from Holzer on here yesterday, and
Okay.
he literally saved my life because a wasp flew into my hair.
What'd he do? He sprung into action.
Hit it with a sheet of paper.
He did.
Hey.
No, he got a sheet of paper and like flipped it out. Well, because I saw
the-
it, we both saw it flying around, and then it literally just landed in my hair, and I'm like, it will never be found again in this mall.
Courtney volunteered to come up and eat the cicada.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yep. That's what that means, right, Courtney?
Nope. Calling off sick that day. No, I think that means exactly what that means.
She's
that she
excited.
will be excited to come up here and munch down on those red eyes.
Super excited.
Psyched.
I saved a baby bird this morning, by the way.
Good for you.
I did. I crawled under Pete Wilson's car, and I snatched it. I don't know if it's alive now, but I did my good deed. So
How did it get there?
it was just sitting in the street, and it couldn't fly. I imagine it got probably pushed out of the nest to see if it could fly, and it failed that test. And then it just kind of stationed there in the street. And so I picked it up and carried it across the street to where Call's Auto Sales was.
That's sweet.
Yeah, there was
for
a dead
you.
bird there already over there, so I figured it wasn't alone in failing that test.
We had a baby,
Mom is mean.
I reckon,
we had
yeah.
a baby bird in our yard that was, like what you're describing, and we noticed that the mama bird was still feeding it, even though it was like
You're
stuck
the one
on the
that
ground.
told me that.
And it, it stayed there for maybe 2 days, and then I think it flew off.
I put it over there, like kind of in the shade by the dumpster. I know that doesn't sound nice, but I mean, there's the only shady place there is.
Yeah.
But there was another, young one that was alive. And then when I went back out earlier and looked across, I saw an adult bird, like picking at it, not being mean to it, but maybe taking care of it. I don't know, maybe. But I touched
We
it,
hope.
so I hope that it doesn't like reject it now.
Well, I
Well,
think
you
that's
tried.
an urban myth. Isn't
Okay.
it?
There, Brittany, you lied. Brittany told me I just
Well,
killed it by touching it.
Yeah, I think that's an urban legend.
I would think. I don't know.
we have this nest out on the patio at Archinetti's, and I have tried, God knows I have tried to make it not be there, but I gave up. But right now it's a robin's nest, and they come every year, and the mommy right now, the birds are all beep, 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 and she comes, and I actually have a picture of it, and she comes and feeds them. It is just, I don't know, it's just precious.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, they'll be gone in no time. And
Yep. They grow quick.
they're not annoying to me at all. I think they're cute. But we had the same thing happen at the restaurant out front. Bird got kicked out of the nest, and, well, numerous times we kept putting birds back in nest because they kept either falling out or a predator was hitting them out or whatever. And one, unfortunately, did not survive. But the other one, there were two, and the other one did. And that night, like one night, it was down on the ground, and it was trying so hard, like it was. And then the next morning, it was gone. So we assumed that in our minds, it flew away.
Yeah.
There was no remnants of any.
That's good.
There were no feathers, so I assumed
Yeah.
that it flew away. But anyway.
So it wasn't one of the 50 million feral cats that took and grabbed it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and in news of the, are you flipping kidding me right now? We all remember Casey Anthony, don't we? Casey Anthony, the most hated mother on the planet. Her dumb butt got into a bar fight got all hammered and got into a bar fight the other day.
I wonder what instigated that.
Oh my God. Lack of brain cells. She said that she got into a fight with a person that she's had a feud with for years, evidently. Again, you're Casey Anthony. Remember, she was acquitted in 2011 of her 2-year-old daughter's murder and charges of aggravated child abuse and aggravated manslaughter of a child. Yeah, she got in a bar fight, then called the police. Some people said it was over an ex-boyfriend. She says it was not. We are not friends. There's more to it I wish to not say, she said. So I'm just thinking, Casey Anthony, she's the one that was out partying and stuff when her child was missing.
Right.
And I mean, she was just something else. But anyway, I'm thinking that if you're Casey Anthony, you should, number one, probably not be out in a bar drinking.
No.
You
Is she
should.
still in Florida?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she belongs in Florida.
You should probably be doing something to try to redeem yourself in life.
You would think.
And getting in a bar fight is probably not it.
No.
So.
Still a trash bag. So.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I was telling you guys, I went to college with a guy that was on that jury and of that case, and he said that, you know, they all knew she's guilty, but they just did a horrible job of trying to prove it, and they just couldn't convict her of it.
What a shame.
And not knowing that, you know, whether she was actually died at the hands of her mother, but that child died as a result, for sure, of some sort of neglect or whatever. And the fact that her body was dumped somewhere is just a whole other story.
Did she have other kids?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So, and then in news of the weird, our good friend Marilyn Manson. You know Marilyn Manson? Remember him?
Doesn't look suspect at all.
He does not look suspect at all. He has an arrest warrant out for him in New Hampshire after he allegedly failed to answer pending charges from an incident involving a videographer where he allegedly continued to spit on her camera to the point where she had to keep, this was at a concert, wiping the lens off. And then when he realized he was getting to her, allegedly, jumped off the stage, got within 2 feet of her, and fired some snot rockets at her. That's what the story says.
That's what a grown-up man does.
That's
Ladies and
definitely
gentlemen.
what a grown-up man
That's
does.
not even the worst thing that Marilyn Manson has been accused of in the last year.
No, he was accused of
mistreating his ex-wife
abuse,
very poorly.
Yeah. His former assistant, Ashley Walters, joined just less than a week ago, has joined a slew of women accusing him of abusive behavior, physical, sexual, psychological, and emotional abuse.
I mean, who would have saw it coming? He looked like a normal guy. He was Paul Pfeiffer.
I mean, he looks just like, he looks like the guy that you see walking on Main Street in Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's probably a couple people that look like that walking around.
Probably. Hey, who am I to judge? I wore my house slippers to work today accidentally, so. Anyway, hey, you know what we did not do? Let's look forward to onto your weather forecast because we failed to do that today because I am just
having too much fun.
Yeah.
That too, or I'm just slowly losing my mind, but surely.
All of the above.
You guys, thanks for the support. Y'all are great. Today, look at that though. We do have some rain in the forecast, which actually would be welcome for the flowers and the crops and things that have been planted. Highs of 86 today, lows of 58, and that chance of showers and typically they're saying thunderstorms today is at 70%. For tomorrow on Thursday, partly cloudy skies, a little bit cooler, highs of 83. And then on Friday for your Jackson's graduation, I hate to say it, they're calling for a 90% chance of rain on Friday. So Jackson's graduation has not gotten rained out in 100,000 years. Yeah. So I would really hate for those kids, after the year that they've had, to have their graduation get rained out as well. But pretty good temperatures at 78, but that chance of rain is at 90%. And then looking onto your Memorial Day weekend, just a bit cooler, but not bad. I mean, like really nice, but a bit cooler for sure. So, all right, big shout out to Carman the Carman, where the deals are great. Also, our friends, the Holzaffel family at the store, the filling station, Quick Stop, and of course Handy Mart right here in Jackson. Also Chip and Kathy Smalley at the shop for custom engraving and things like that. And our good friends at Callahan Hardware, your everything store right here in our area. All right, we made it an hour.
We did it.
We did it. We did it. And there's a bird getting ready to attack us at any moment.
I hear
so,
it, yeah.
yes, we're going to get out of
Might be
here
a
for the
small
day.
army of birds.
It might be.
It sounds like they're coming from all directions.
It does.
an Alfred
I
Hitchcock
saw
movie.
it actually, like, I can see it up there flying around. So there's like a little hole, and I can see it.
yeah, I
It's
see it.
freaking me out a little bit. So anyway, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be right back here tomorrow on Thursday with our friends from Wellston and the Rotary there to talk
Tim
about
Jackson, yeah.
flag things. So, all right, have a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.